prompt engineering. And this is where lots of physicians get frustrated, especially those who don't like using technology. Okay. So when it comes to the AI tools, I really think about them not like as a smart tool, or like let's put another way. AI tools, like they are like a nail and a hammer. And let's say you want to do a sculpture, you just don't hammer a couple of times and then you stop. And that's not how it works. You just take your nail, take your hammer, and then like you work on that piece of rock again and again and again and again until you end up with the results that you like. And this is how AI tools are. By asking one question, sometimes you might not get the answer that you want, but you have to give it feedback, you have to teach it, and you have to tell it what you want so you can get the answer that you want. So, and there is a science behind that. And one of the best papers I read about this is a prompt pattern catalog to enhance prompt engineering with ChatGPT. What does that mean? In a simple terms, how do we talk to AI? That's it. How do you get what you want from it? Dr. Julius Schwitz is a great teacher. He'll have many papers and courses. I really like him. He's a great teacher. I learned a lot about AI from him. But this course is mainly designed for physicians, and we're going to talk about the prompts that really matter for physicians, or mostly what I use on day-to-day basis. If you have any other types of prompts you use as a physician or healthcare workers, feel free to keep them or like write them in the comments. And basic pattern. So persona. When you ask an AI for a question, if you ask an AI question, the answer is going to be generated to you. It's going to be general. It's not going to be specified to you as an oncologist or as an internist or a gastroenterologist, unless you are using a medical AI like Open Evidence or Glass Health. So when you use ChatGPT or Gemini, you have to tell it like act as an oncologist, act as a hematologist, act as a statistician. You have to give it a persona. You have to tell it what role to take, and depending on that, to generate an answer. For example, if I want to know, like if I have data and I want to analyze it, I will tell the AI, act as a statistician, look at this data, and tell me what statistical tests are best to use to answer XYZ question. And or you can refine it by telling it your audience is or your audience are. For example, you can upload a PowerPoint presentation that you are working on to the AI or ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI tool you're using, and you can ask it, look at this PowerPoint presentation and tell me what you think. Remember that the audience are physicians or nurses or high school students. So it will help you by knowing who the audience is, and it will refine the answer depending on that. So you have to give it a persona. You have to give it more context. The more context you give the AI tool, the better your answers are going to be generated. Zero-shot prompting. What does that mean? You ask a question without giving any examples. For example, you just ask, take this text and or tell me about this trial. For example, tell me about XYZ the trial. In oncology, you have lots of trials. For example, tell me about the Keynote 051. And I don't give any example. So it's just going to go and generate like a maybe long answer, short answer, and it's going to tell me about this trial. But so this is called zero-shot prompting. You ask a question without giving any examples. But remember, in medicine, we have the very famous saying that see one, teach one, see one, do one, teach one. And you can do the same thing with AI. You can give it an example. You can give it one example, say, hey, this is a summary of a trial, or this is how I like the summary of a trial to be. Please summarize this trial for me. Or this is data for about a specific patient without mentioning any personal identification, and organize it similar to this note, so that you give it one example, one shot. Or you can give it few shots. You might have like 4 or 5 examples, and you give this to the AI, and you ask the question, and you ask it to generate answer similar to these examples. If there is like some variability, and the variability depends on the context, so the AI is going to be able to serve you. So as you can see, so the way you ask a question really affects the output of the AI. Chain of thought prompting. This is important pattern as well. To ask the AI to think step by step when you ask it a question, and this really does make a difference at this day and age. We're recording at July 22, 2025. In the future, this may change. So let me give you an example. In one of the research studies that I do, I assess the clinical decision supports of AI tools in oncology. And I was testing different AI tools on how they can treat breast cancer patients. I tested two tools, OpenAI's GPT-4 and Anthropic's Claude Opus. Long story short, I give questions to these two models, and then after they answered my question, the clinical case, the clinical vignette, I asked these models to reconsider their answers and think step by step. We found that Claude's model accuracy increase, I believe it was like from 79 to 85%, just by asking it to think step by step. However, GPT-4 accuracy did not increase. And I assume that the GPT-4 already does the think step by step in the back end where you don't say it. But this is an assumption, I'm not sure. I don't know how things work in the back end for these models. But day by day, lots of companies are integrating this think step by step. And if you want to increase the accuracy of the answer you're getting, you always ask the model to think step by step. But you sometimes also this can make the AI's answer slower, not that much slower, a couple of seconds more, 4 or 5 seconds more, depending on the question and the type of data. But it does increase the need of computing power and energy power. So you have, if you want more accurate, or if you want AI to reconsider the answer, so you have to ask it, please reconsider your answer, or think step by step. Flipped interaction. This is one of the interaction types that I like with AI. For example, you might upload, if you are studying for an exam, or you want to understand that you want to test your knowledge on a specific topic, you can just upload a PDF and ask the AI to ask you questions to assess your understanding about this topic. And it's that simple. You just upload documents and ask the AI to ask you a question instead of you asking questions, and say or tell the AI what your goal is from this. So those are the basic patterns you need to understand. Of course, if you want more patterns, you can always go to this paper and understand more about the different patterns and the different type of English that you use and the requests that you send to the AI. It's going to change the answer and the output.